Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to explore whether there's really such a thing as a chosen one, or if it's all just down to dumb luck. And in the process, we're going to out the Hero of Kvatch. Sometimes, just being in the right place at the right time is all it takes to change everything. In The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, your character begins locked up in the Imperial prison, on the receiving end of some racial abuse from the only other prisoner in earshot, our good friend Vaelendreth. We don't know why we're here, who we are, or whether we deserve this abuse. We know nothing. And then, without warning, the Emperor of Tamriel, the most important man in the Empire, Mr. Patrick Stewart himself, walks up to your cell door and says, "You, I've seen you."
This yet?
You, I've seen you.
Before you know it, you're being whisked away down a secret exit with the Emperor and his bodyguards. Things escalate, and suddenly you're on a quest to find the secret heir to the throne and save all of Tamriel. This all begs the question, were you chosen to save the world by some higher being? Or were you just the lucky occupant of the one cell in the whole prison with a conveniently located escape tunnel? The prisoner's luck, or lack thereof. Let's strip away the romance for a second. You're not here because of a prophecy. Uriel Septim may have seen your face in a dream, but really, you're here because your cell just happens to connect to a secret passage the Blades need to use. That's it. If the Imperial Watch had done things slightly differently, the entire story would have happened to Vaelendreth. And to be fair, that is definitely a game I'd have liked to see play out. This isn't unique to Tamriel. History is full of moments where sheer chance, not divine plan, decided who stood at the centre of the storm. Gavrilo Princip. In 1914, this 19-year-old Bosnian Serb stepped into a side street for a quick sandwich. At that exact moment, Archduke Franz Ferdinand's motorcar took a wrong turn and stopped right in front of him. Princip, opportunist, pulled out his pistol and fired, killing the Archduke and his wife, and in the process, triggering World War I. Or you could look at the Great Fire of London. On the 2nd of September in 1666, in a small bakery on Pudding Lane, Thomas Fariner failed to fully extinguish his oven before going to bed. Sparks caught a nearby kindling, and within hours, high winds turned the small blaze into an unstoppable inferno that destroyed more than 13,000 houses and most of London's medieval centre. Or finally, Alexander Fleming. In 1928, this Scottish bacteriologist left a petri dish of Staphylococcus bacteria uncovered while on holiday. When he returned, he noticed that mould had killed the bacteria around it. This accidental discovery became penicillin, the first widely used antibiotic, saving millions of lives, all because of a forgotten dish. So, no, you weren't destined for this. You were just in the perfect place for someone else's problem to become your problem. The Chosen One trope. The Chosen One is the oldest narrative trick in the book. Our hero is marked from birth, chosen by the gods, a prophecy, or some ancient bloodline. They're the only one who can stop the big bad. Some famous examples include Harry Potter. He's literally the subject of prophecy made before his birth, declaring that neither can live while the other survives. This gives him not just a personal stake in the fight, but also a sense of inevitability. No matter what choices he makes, the prophecy pushes him toward the final confrontation. Or there's Luke Skywalker. Introduced in Star Wars as a farm boy from Tatooine, he turns out to be the son of Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi Knight prophesied to bring balance to the Force. This hidden lineage makes him a central figure in the galactic civil war, and gives his journey a mythic, destiny-driven quality. In the Matrix trilogy, Neo is told he's the One, a prophesied savior who will end the war between humans and machines. His story is literally about discovering and accepting that preordained role, with powers that manifest only because of his special status. Oblivion does none of that. You are not the Dragonborn, you're not a Septim, you have no holy bloodline, destiny scroll, no chosen one birthmark in the shape of Akatosh's tail. You're just a person who happens to be there when the Emperor needed someone with a pulse and opposable thumbs. And in a way, that's refreshing. You don't start with greatness handed to you. You start with a rusty sword, mismatched armour, and the faint smell of prison stew. Whatever glory you get, you're going to have to earn. And that means making it up as you go, while everyone else is too busy panicking to notice. Earning the title. Titles aren't worth much unless you've done something to deserve them. And by the end of Oblivion, the Hero of Kvatch isn't just a PR stunt, it's accurate. You close Oblivion gates, not one but dozens. You walk into the literal plains of hell armed with little more than a sword, some healing potions, and whatever questionable fashion choices you picked up along the way. You escort Martin Septim across Cyrodiil through assassination attempts and Daedric sieges. This isn't the story of someone fated to win. It's the story of someone stubborn enough to keep showing up. And history loves those people. Look at Joan of Arc. Born in 1412 to a peasant family in northeastern France, she claimed to have visions from God instructing her to support Charles VII during the 100 Years' War. Despite her age and humble origins, she convinced the French court to let her lead troops, lifting the siege of Orleans and turning the tide of the war, until she was captured and executed at 19 years old. Or there's Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery in Maryland around 1822, she escaped in 1849, but she did not stop there. She returned at least 13 times to lead over 70 enslaved people to freedom via an underground railroad, risking her life every single time. She later worked as a scout and a spy for the Union Army during the American Civil War. Or, quite famously, Desmond Doss, a devout Seventh-day Adventist and conscientious objector in World War II. He served as a combat medic without carrying a weapon. During the Battle of Okinawa in 1945, he single-handedly rescued 75 wounded soldiers under heavy fire, earning him the Medal of Honor, the first awarded to someone who refused to bear arms. None of these people were chosen. They weren't born heroes. They became them because they didn't walk away, just like the Hero of Kvatch. The Empire's need for a narrative. Here's the thing, the Empire didn't just need someone to do the work, although they absolutely did need someone to do the work. No, what they needed during this time was a symbol. Think about it. The Emperor assassinated, and all his known heirs. The fate of the world hung in the balance, as without a Septim sitting on the throne, the protections from the Oblivion Plains were no longer active. Things were looking pretty bleak for the average citizen who didn't know of Martin Septim's existence. The Empire needed a symbol to rally behind to resist the Daedric tide. The Grand Champion of the arena, the Grey Prince, didn't seem to care for it, nor does the Archmage at the Arcane University. In lieu of an existing hero, it becomes us. The Hero of Kvatch is easy to put on a recruitment poster. It rallies the people together to show that resistance works, and they don't have to take this insurgents lying down. The Hero of Kvatch is more than just a title for your actions, it's a symbol of hope. Random convict who happened to be there is less inspiring, so I'm glad we get this title upgrade. It's not unique to Tamriel. History's full of people turned into icons because the moment needed a face. Just look at Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of the UK during the Second World War. He's remembered as the embodiment of British resilience. While his leadership during the Blitz is legendary, this public image was also carefully curated by propaganda and press management, with the less flattering parts of his career, such as some disastrous campaigns in World War I, and controversial political views, being downplayed or ignored. Or there's Florence Nightingale, known as the Lady with a Lamp. She rose to fame for her work during the Crimean War between 1853 and 1856, where she improved sanitation and medical care for soldiers. Her reputation was enhanced by romanticised press coverage, presenting her as an angelic figure, while the harsh realities of war hospitals were often left unmentioned. The Blades understood this perfectly. People need to believe in someone, and you, nameless, unbound and with nothing to lose, with a perfect blank slate to turn into a legend. And a legend you became. Luck versus destiny. So, were you chosen or just lucky? Oblivion's answer seems to be, it doesn't matter. There's an idea called mantling, becoming something by doing exactly what it does, until the universe can't tell the difference. You didn't start as the Hero of Kvatch, but every gate you closed, every Daedra you killed, every time you stood your ground, you wore that mantle a little more tightly. Maybe that's the real message. Greatness isn't given, it's built. You don't need a prophecy or divine blood. You just need to be the one who shows up over and over again until there's no one left to question if you were the right person all along. The Hero of Kvatch isn't the child of prophecy. They're not blessed by the Nine, unless you do that DLC. They're just someone who didn't walk away when it mattered. And maybe that's all it takes. So, if Uriel Septim bursts into your room tonight, don't panic. You might be about to save the world. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas for other video essays comparing the Elder Scrolls to the real world, drop me a comment below. I read all of them and I reply to all of them too. If you enjoyed this one, you'll probably like the last video where I compared the Mythic Dawn to real world cults. See you there.